in your life when you are trying to succeed, and when you feel like that success is not made for you, or you even get to the brink of it, you wonder if you're making the right decision. So overall fear of success, know that you will have success wherever you go. It's not always so much the location, the destination, the job, the specific person in your relationship. Like, you are capable of finding success regardless. You are the success. You make the success. What you bring to the relationship, what you bring to the job, what you bring to the business, whatever in your life, that is what makes the success. Is what you bring to the table, right? You're listening to Little Pricks Podcast. We're so happy you're here. Get comfortable and enjoy the episode.
Hello there. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
Sorry, I was getting in my zone. What's up, everybody?
We are the Little Pricks. My name is Fareed.
My name is Devin, and you're tuning in for another fantastic episode.
With your two favorite little pricks.
Yeah, boy. We're here to have conversations that most people could stand to have. This is a podcast where we get a little vulnerable. We talk about some things that maybe most people kind of shy away from, but we here we kind of dissect those topics sometimes to the depths that are treacherous and awful. But they always produce growth, and they always produce good conversations at the end of the day, and ones that make us, I think, a lot better for it. So.
Absolutely. And if you like that kind of content, we do ask that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share it with those that you think might benefit from this.
Absolutely. And mostly the notification bell, because some of you guys that do follow, which thank you, by the way, we have broken well over 1,000 followers on YouTube, or subscribers, I guess it would be on YouTube, and still over 5,000 on Instagram. Cannot even begin to fathom that. This year's goal, by the way, was just to have over 1,000 on any social media platform. Didn't care where it was. Just over 1,000. That was this year's goal. We have far overreached that goal.
March.
Thank you guys all so much. But yes, if you like this kind of content, and if you're already subscribed, make sure you hit the notification bell, because some of you are asking me when the next episode is coming out, and it's already out. You just didn't realize that it's out. So,
just a little thing as well.
Yeah.
Just to remind everybody that we are two guys talking about our thoughts, opinions, feelings. Yeah. We are not therapists.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That's a good one to touch base on.
We're simply here, and you're getting to watch what our conversations would normally be like anyways.
Yeah. Or what your conversations would look like, right? Because, most of you, I assume, aren't therapists either. So.
Yeah. So we're just putting a camera in front of us and potentially interviewing people with similar thoughts or opposing thoughts on the same subject, though.
Yeah.
And so,
no doubt.
With that all being said,
yeah, what are we talking about today,
please don't sue me, bro. And
tell us what we're talking about.
Today's topic is going to be the fear of success. And why do we self-sabotage when we're right on the brink of success?
Yeah, this one hurts. This one hurts bad. It's been a while. It's been a while since the topic really kind of stings. Like when we first started doing the podcast, I remember the first handful were just like, I could feel it. I could feel the heaviness on my chest. And I could feel the butterflies in my stomach when we're about to talk about it. And it's been a while since that's happened. And this one's getting that kind of reaction out of me today.
Well, I will say that because I've been feeling this lately. And so that's kind of where we came up with this topic, right? You've watched me go through some pretty heavy moments here.
Yeah.
Where success is brewing.
Yep.
And that heavy lifting's been happening the whole time. But it's just now we're about to get to that final God.
Well, even too, right in my life too. And I guess that's kind of like it's a feeling it's just so weird, right? Like you said, you've been struggle busting, nose to the grindstone, working. And then you get to the brink, you get to the edge where you're on that cliff and you're like, oh my God, I made it to the top of the mountain. Here I am, the place I've wanted to be for so long. What do I do now? Do I jump off without a parachute?
Well, for a lot of people, yes, it comes when you've hit success. But for many others, I know for me, for example, it's right before success. So you can see it like I could just make that leap right now and I will be at the finish line. I'm done. And this comes in so many different ways. And like you're saying, it feels like so many different things. Just to kind of explain how it feels for me.
Yeah.
Right? It's that moment of second guessing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is for me too. Second guessing. Yep.
You know, this happens a lot when I've made a business decision.
Mm-hmm.
I sit there and go, well, that could be costly. And what if it changes the way things are now?
Yep.
And then you realize, well, I'm changing things because I don't like the way things are now.
Right.
So you have to remind yourself that, no, the change is happening. You're going to commit to it.
Yep.
It's just time to get it done.
I think this could also like kind of pertain to relationships too, right?
I was going to say that one next, right? It's, again, I've felt this in the past before.
Oh, yeah.
I know how to deal with it now, but
Yeah.
it stems 100% from internal thoughts about myself, right?
Yeah.
Not the person that you're talking to, so to speak. But I've had it where like, hey, I've chosen a woman. She's really nice. I find her attractive. All these things are checking the right boxes.
Sure.
And as they're starting to show you affection, they're starting to show me affection, I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I don't want this one. Wait a minute.
Wow, really?
No, that's me. Pause. No, she's wonderful. This
Yeah.
is not a reflection of her. It's me. It's the fear of success.
Yeah.
What if this might go somewhere?
So what do you think makes you feel that? Because like I've been there too, and like I think, I don't know. It's just so many different things that it could be causing you to feel that way. Maybe it's like imposter syndrome or
Oh, it's a variety of things. It's a variety of things, right? You get a little bit of imposter syndrome. You start to self-deprecate, I'd say.
yeah.
You know, that you start looking at this person like they're so wonderful until they start to like you. Then you're like, wait, what's wrong with you for liking me?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing,
Oh yeah,
right?
I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like other places I think that it can happen too is kind of like your job. And even like lately for me, like I've been thinking about doing some ICU nursing, getting some more experience. And it's like, I do the same thing, right? Like I've traveled for 4 years all over the country for work. I've had fantastic success financially and inside of my career. And now I have the opportunity to like kind of level up in a sense. And like here lately, I've been like, what if I'm not good enough to be an ICU nurse? What if I'm not? Even though I'm on that brink of success, I'm on that brink of like taking my career to the next level and moving in the direction that I've wanted to move. Like even when I first became a nurse, that's what I wanted to get into was critical care.
You know the crazy thing about that inner thought? I could sit here and tell you that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Because at the end of the day, it kind of is. Yeah.
It's a ridiculous. Well, it has some basis in reality, right? It's not completely asinine for you to think, well, what if I'm not good enough? There's always that potential. But chances are your track records show you are.
Yeah.
Right? And I could sit here and tell you that and logic you to death about how you are good enough, but it won't sink in until you're ready. And so that's always one of the most frustrating parts about that self-sabotage mentality or the fear of success is that you have to sit there and walk yourself off that ledge. No one else can do it for you. They can help you, right?
Oh, yeah. They can be on the side and say, hey, come this way. But you have to put your legs in motion. You got to walk down there, you know?
And it's seldom, I'd say, when you can logic someone can logic you off that ledge. I think more or less it's, hey, here's the bridge from where you're at to where you're going. I'll help put the bridge there, but I can't make you walk over it. Kind of a thing, which again, we've dealt with that
way. Oh, yeah.
recently, kind of a thing, right? Again, with potential partnerships, business things.
Business or jobs. Anything else? Any other areas? I mean, I feel like we're inevitably going to miss some of the areas that this can apply, but maybe you guys can help with that and comment and let us know.
I think ultimately if we focus on the main driving factors of humans, which there are, for the most part, like 4. There are 4 things that drive humans, and this is not my opinion, although my opinion does agree with this one. It's basically, I think the CIA has an acronym for it. It was MICE. It was, where is it? I'm going to Google that.
I was going to say the internet's at your disposal, sir.
It is. No, it was money, ideology, coercion, and ego. So basically, I think most of your fears of success will come from there. Most of any emotions will stem from those 4 things, right? Money is actually more reward, right? The desire to receive something. Then you had, what was the I?
I'm like blanking too. Money.
Ideologies, yeah. Money, you have your ideologies. That's your religious beliefs. That is who you are as a person. That is what you say is your core. Yeah. Then you have coercion. That one's going to be a big driving factor as well. And then the one that drives my attention the most is the ego. Yeah. Right? Because that's going to bring in your love. That's going to bring in your
all the stuff that hurts. All the stuff that gets you bent out of shape.
Not that the coercion isn't that important. It's just the ability to change someone's mind. And this is actually how you manipulate people. But Because if you can feed into those, there's
Yikes.
that. But that's, again, where that success comes into, right?
Yeah, sure.
You can be played with by your own mind and mentality, just using those 4 basic principles of human psychology there.
Yeah. So in regard to, all these successes, and when we get to where we're about to succeed in these areas and we start to self-sabotage, I think some of the things that we've talked about and touched base on already is kind of that negative self-talk of like, what if I'm not good enough, right? Or what if this isn't made for me? Or like you make that business decision, as you said, and you start having second guesses, and it's like, well, then, you have to remind yourself that this is the reason why I made these changes, because I don't like how things are right now.
Absolutely. And that leads us to a little side note here that we're going to talk about, but they're triggering events, right? They're events that elicit emotions of trauma, which may or may not be conducive to good decision making.
Well, yeah, and those can come from all kinds of different places. I would say that mostly those experiences are just ones that you've had before, right? Like that triggering response and those emotions that come with that triggering response. Like for relationships, for example, I get to a place, say, where I'm about to like take a relationship to the next space, or you're in a relationship, maybe you're about to get engaged, and then you remember, oh shit, last time this happened, stuff went away, stuff went sideways, and then you have that, like you said, that triggering event, and then like sometimes we seek kind of some old habits and old comforts, for some people it might be social media, like you might be like doom scroll, or so other people it could be a little more extreme. It could be like alcohol, it could be nicotine, something like that, and I've seen that happen even in my own life too. Like when I have these triggering events and like you get these complex feelings that come up, like instead of having those conversations and dealing with them appropriately, you kind of seek these old habits for comfort too. So
they are basically your comfort food, right?
Yeah.
They're old things that may or may not be conducive to you anymore, but you seek comfort in them because you know what they are. You know what they feel like. They are not new.
Yeah.
They are predictable.
Right.
And that, I think, is a big part of why do we get that fear of success all of a sudden right before we accomplish something. Because at the other side of accomplishment is the unknown. And
the unknown and the discomfort, because you've been, even if stuff's been chaotic previous to the success, it's at least been predictable, and there's comfort in that, right?
Sure, yeah. Even if it's the unpredictability can also come in potential just good things.
Yeah.
You don't exactly know what that's going to bring. A lot of times people underestimate the new responsibility that success can bring you.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot of things that come with success in whatever form you might be looking at, whether it be a new job, whether it be at completing your 30-day fast, whether it be your new relationship, right?
Yeah.
There's a new version of you that comes out at the end of it, and you're not just quite sure if you're going to like them or not, or the life that they live.
And there's really no way to know until you know, man. It's like...
Which is
it's
crazy.
Tough. It's
crazy.
Tough. Yeah. There are just some things that you just don't know until you know, and you have to take that leap of faith. You have to take that jump off of the edge.
You only get to live in the present.
Yeah.
Right? And the person that comes out at the end of any of these successes is a different version of you. And you and your mind have to come to an agreement that person is better, and you're comfortable with whoever comes out at the other end.
And I like what you said about that too, of like you're forced to be in the present. And I think that could be like a good overshadowing like element of this episode, is that, we get to where we're about to have that success, or we're right on the brink of success. And I think that that's a lot of the reason why people get held up, or why they maybe not knowing it are right on the edge of success, and then you turn around. It's like the old analogy of like the miner digging, and he's about to hit this big, huge diamond, and he's been digging forever, but he's right about to hit that diamond, but he quits right before he hits it because the guy beside of him has been digging and found a bunch of little diamonds, and he's been digging a lot less time, but he's found a bunch of little ones. But they'll turn around right before, and it's because they can't live in the moment. They can't live in the moment, and they can't be present and be like, well, here shortly I'm about to have this success, or like, I know that soon my turn's coming. And when you are about to have that success and you're about to take that leap of faith, you just don't know until you know, right? But if you live in this idea in the future that like you haven't had any success, or the past, I guess it would be a better way to look at it. You keep looking in the past of like, oh, I've dug all this way, and I haven't had success yet. Then you're going to turn around right before you get what you've been working so hard for.
Yeah, the biggest reason people succeed typically is consistency and perseverance. You don't
Yeah.
get big muscles in the gym for going once.
No.
You get big muscles
For
for going
going
there 3 years in a
years.
row.
Years.
Right? Never stopping.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that's so true, man.
look at us, right? With our little podcast.
Yeah, and to be frank, like
We've went
8
months almost.
Well, that and like people don't take into consideration how much work went into this before we even launched our first episode, right? Like, dude, we talked about and kind of like orchestrated and starting like learning about equipment, learning about audio, learning about video for like a freaking year. Before we even shot the first episode, we were talking about it and working on it for like a year.
And the first one still sucked.
It did. God, I'll always leave it. I'll always leave it. But wow.
Yes, you should.
Wow.
So actually, Jordan Peterson says something.
Yeah.
He goes, "The fool is the precursor to the hero."
Oh, okay. I like that.
Which I like that one a
Elaborate
lot.
on it a little bit. I can kind of guess at what he means by that, but elaborate.
So basically, whenever you start something new, right, you are the fool.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting there blubbering your way through. You're figuring it out.
Bad camera angles. Terrible audio.
You guys got a lot of groin shots.
Why?
And we apologize.
Why did we think that was a good angle?
I don't think we had much of a choice. We were like, just be funny. It'll be fine. Just be funny. Groin. Yeah. You're right. It was funny. They had to stare at two groins the whole time.
Goodness. It was awful.
But, you know, you learn and you grow. But again, every time we send off an episode, I mean, we go through it where you're sitting there just a little bit worried. Like, how's that one going to land? Right?
Yeah.
It's a fear of success because you never know. Because the opposite side of that coin is what if you do really well?
You're right.
Right?
And I'll be honest, there is some kind of degree of that every time I put out an episode for us. You know, every time I'm sitting there editing, I'm like, I mean, it seems pretty good. And I am overall mostly satisfied with 3 episodes. But there was that little lingering thought of like, what if it doesn't land well?
Which, by the way, guys, if you do like the way these episodes are edited, please leave a like. It's all Devin.
Yeah.
He does all of that.
It's all me.
It's
I spend
100%
so many
Devin.
hours. So many hours.
I take zero credit for that. All I do is I show up to this little room. I look at him and say, why aren't things set up yet? Get to work.
Freed's the sugar daddy of the podcast. He funds all the equipment. He's bought like 3 microphones. These are his laptops and tablets.
And I write the script.
Yeah.
That is what I give.
Right. No, don't be too hard on yourself, buddy. You contribute.
No, I'm just saying,
if
you like how it's edited, give us a like. It's all Devin. Back to our point here, though, was you start to feel a lot of this potential feelings of self-sabotage when you start with a new job. Which
new job too. Sure.
I have a person in mind that I would have loved to have had on the podcast, but not just hit me right this moment.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, well, why not?
A person very close to me, my sister. She had, when she was doing her job hunts, she was struggling with it, but she did great. Yeah. Right? But her fear was, which one will give me success and which one won't? Which one will make me the happiest or which one won't? Yeah. And I know that she had to drive herself absolutely batty for a little bit there. Yeah. To kind of understand that she'll be fine.
Either way, regardless.
It was, for her, it was, success was going to be found wherever she went. Yeah. Right? And so her fear was the failure of picking the wrong place and not finding that success. It wasn't, she just couldn't see, her mind was hindering her from seeing that she'll be great anywhere she goes. It's her that matters.
Right. And that's a good little nugget too, right? Like we can just, that's a good nugget to put in the episode and maybe make into like one of the shorts for people to see, because we try to make really good points and really good takeaways, because sometimes like when you're listening to a podcast and you're listening to these things and you're trying to dissect and you're trying to grow, it's kind of hard to, like, unless you're sitting on the other side of the podcast taking notes, it's kind of hard to take away really good big things that you can apply to your life. And I would say that what you just said is a really good nugget. So turn up your volume, focus on this part right here if you're listening, because that's kind of an analogy that I want you to focus on, or at least one of them, right? Or one of the nuggets is when you're talking about the job search. But you can apply that situation of your sister's job search to anything. Like in your life, when you are trying to succeed and when you feel like that success is not made for you, or you even get to the brink of it, you wonder if you're making the right decision. So overall fear of success, know that you will have success wherever you go. It's not always so much the location, the destination, the job, the specific person in your relationship. Like, you are capable of finding success regardless. You are the success. You make the success. What you bring to the relationship, what you bring to the job, what you bring to the business, whatever in your life, that is what makes the success. Is what you bring to the table, right?
Another way of saying it is basically when you're given a couple of different choices, it doesn't matter which choice you make. It'll be the fact that you make the choice. Exactly. You are the value you bring to that choice.
Yep.
It's going to be fine.
Making the choice is
be
the
consistent.
Success.
Yeah. Once you're in there and you're consistent, no matter what you chose, you're going to do great.
Right. Because look at us. Us two goofballs sitting here with microphones, and we're making a successful podcast. Who'd have thought? Not me.
Who in their right mind gave us microphones?
Right. The cameras, really. The microphones are fine. You have a very good radio or podcast voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the cameras we should have never been given.
No, the real villain here is the guy at Best Buy who only sold us cameras or microphones, not cameras.
Oh, I know, right?
Blame Best Buy.
But
I'm just kidding. They should have upsold us though.
Yeah, probably.
No, so you're choosing your job.
Yep.
You know, you start to worry because it's always a new experience, right?
Yeah.
And you start to roll into the idea of, well, they gave me the job, but I actually have no idea what I'm doing. And I'd like to remind most of you out there that don't realize this. Whenever you're given a new job, most people have no idea what they're doing. That's why it's a
just
new
for clarity.
job.
Yeah, most of us are just doing our best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People. I mean, that's a great way to put it too. You don't realize that most of society is just a bunch of people figuring it out as they go. So don't panic that you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Most of us don't.
Most of us don't. Literally, the biggest thing that I have found in life is I get older. And this is why I love getting older. Everybody, for some reason, is like, oh, it's hell getting old. Don't go getting old. And I'm like,
the wrinkles.
Why not?
Wrinkles.
To hell with the wrinkles. That's just part of it. You got to pay somewhere. But like,
Said the man with no wrinkles.
Well,
okay.
Okay, fair. But I'll have wrinkly skin with cool tattoos in them, so that helps.
Very soon.
But yeah, so like when you're having these issues and like, oh no, what I was saying was that the biggest thing I've realized is that when I get older, everybody's just trying to figure it out. Everybody thinks, including myself, that when you get older or you get to a certain age or you become an adult or whatever, that you just suddenly all have all these things figured out. And the biggest thing I've learned is that when I've gotten older is that everybody's still just trying to figure it out. Adults and even older people are just older kids. Like they were kids too. They were in their 20s at one point too. They had their experience with loss and with failure too. You're not the only one. We are all living life for the first time.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually a short I made yesterday.
Yeah.
Be easy on yourself. This is your first time doing everything.
There is no blueprint to this crazy, chaotic life.
No.
You get a decent little idea for some things, but like for the majority, 98% of life, we are all just trying to figure it out. So be easy on yourselves, okay?
Be easy on yourself, yes. Unless you're religious, then you have a Bible or a holy book. Yeah. Which, here's the funny thing.
For poor schmucks like me, I have nothing.
No, you have podcasts.
Yeah. I have a podcast.
Did you ever watch, it was The Love Guru? You never watched it. You never watched it. I used to laugh at how good their analogies were for stuff.
Yeah.
Man, it was so good. It was, it was like, Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Oh,
God, that was so funny.
Oh, boy.
It's so good. You don't have to be religious to appreciate that one. It was hilarious.
I know. I'm just being a prick, if you will.
You are being a little prick here.
Yeah.
But you're right. For the most part, we're only given, depending on how you're raised, certain very limited instructions.
Sure.
Right? And you almost have to go seek out the knowledge of others. And even those people have no idea what they're doing. So don't be afraid of trying something new or different out of the fear of failing or succeeding.
Yeah.
Right?
Live inside of the moment.
Which I would say the next one that takes us to is the almighty and heavy relationships, right?
Yeah, those ones are always heavy for me personally. Like for you, I think it's more prominent in like business decisions or like,
I'm a human being too.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I just mean of late with the business and making the different.
Well, it's
the changes.
They both weigh differently, right?
Yeah.
Like with the business decision, I know that I can make a good or a bad one that can sink me or float me, right?
Yeah, right.
But
that's what I mean. Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to touch on a saying. You're like, no, I'm human too. Yeah.
Well, I this is a little on the ego side of me, but people tend to look at me as, are you worried at all? horrified inside.
Yeah, terrified.
Yeah,
mortified, sir. You have no idea.
Yeah. I don't look like it anymore because I've dealt with that level of stress for so long that it's like a general level of horrified at all times.
Wow.
That it's I don't sweat it anymore.
Yeah.
I go to sleep peacefully, like I'm fine.
That's good. That's good.
I'm actually more relating to the last episode when I have peace. I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
This is not the muddy water I'm used to swimming in.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
No, but relationships, I think they can be very stressful for most people because it is one of those big, massive decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, humans were arguably designed to be in pairs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. You definitely see that more often.
We're big old skin-covered penguins.
Yeah.
Right? We want a pair for life.
Yeah. And there's just so much on the line for that. And I think that's kind of what plays into the relationships, right? Like, outside of yourself, which obviously it's impossible to spend time with anyone more than you spend time with yourself. But your partner that you pick is next in line. That's a big one. A lot weighing on that one.
Unless you're a doctor. Those guys spend a lot of time with everyone but their partners.
Yeah?
Good God.
Have you dated a doctor, buddy? Oh, no. He said, I'm in pain.
Well, that and I have families full of doctors and everything. So, yeah.
Fair. No shame on the doctors. We love you for what you do.
No, we absolutely adore you.
Especially me. I work alongside of doctors, so I really love you guys.
Well, to be fair, you see your coworkers more than you see your partner, I'd say. So,
my work-life balance is pretty good.
36 hours a week minimum, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, back to what we were saying. It's the relationships that can be so stressful because, statistically, it's one of the most important decisions you'll make.
Yeah, right. Because, again, that's the next person in line that you're going to spend the most time with.
If you pick the wrong partner, they can drastically reduce your income ability in life.
Your income ability in what regard? Like money-wise?
Income, yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you choose the wrong partner, you drastically change the trajectory of your income.
Sure. But you think that could make them right or wrong?
Well, they can be, right? Because income is, in this case, can be a sign of potential health or success. Not that money is the most important part, but it's just quantifiable, right? If you choose a partner that just chooses...
This is a different avenue. That's why I'm questioning. Because I'm like, this is a different way. I was not expecting you to go this way, so...
Well, I mean, if you choose a partner that just only wants the now, the feel good today, right? They're not a partner that helps you encourage for the future. Right?
Okay, that's fair.
Little details like that.
Oh, okay.
Again, the idea is not
with
just your money. It's just how they help you think, how they help you plan, how they help you work out life's little pricks.
Well, that can apply to money too, right? Right. I saw what you did there. That was good. That was good.
But your partner, the one you pick, is one of the most important things, simply because they will change you, and you will change for them. The person that you are today will not be the person you are tomorrow with them. Yeah, and
it's inevitable. Mm-hmm. You're right. I used to be so rigid on that, and I'm not anymore. It's like I don't know. I was only rigid on it because I used to be afraid of, or I'd had experience with, kind of losing myself in relationships, and I think that's why I was so freaking rigid.
I think that happens with age.
Yeah, and it's just you just learn too, right? Like that age again, exactly. Everybody thinks that aging is just hell, where they say don't do it. I'm like, my gosh, isn't it better?
Great.
Isn't it better than the alternative? I love life the older I get. The older I get, and by the way, whoever told me that my 20s were going to be the best years of my life, lies. You lied to me.
Yeah.
And you lied to everybody else you told that to, because my 20s, as I'm getting to the second half of them, are getting a lot better. But I can see that the closer and closer and closer I get to 30, the easier and more fruitful and more awesome my life has gotten.
Well, life is very much like a little coin bank.
Yeah.
Right? Every single day you live, you put another penny in for experience and wisdom. And
exactly.
It's a lot easier to function with a piggy bank that's full than a piggy bank that's empty.
Bravo, sir. That's so good. That's so good. I like it. No, I agree, man. So
that's a short. No, but back to the relationship things. We are going off topic left and right on this one.
Oh, it's okay.
And we're having fun with it. But the biggest thing is, right, you start to meld into another person.
Yeah.
With another person. And it can be very triggering for people when you start to move from that casual, this is a fun person to spend time with, to someone that now has to see your vulnerabilities and become more intimate with them. So you decide, you know what, I like this person. Yeah. We're exclusive. That's a triggering event.
Sure.
Right? You now are saying that I'm shutting off all my other options to spend time with this one person.
Yeah.
That changes you. That's a great place to self-sabotage.
And where many people usually do, right?
Yeah. Or then you start moving to maybe another stage where you're saying, well, maybe it's time for getting engaged. Now
Sure.
you're really saying
Right.
we're
Now you're
shutting
really
off
narrowing
all
it down.
options, right?
Right.
You want to get a dog together. Now you're sharing responsibilities together.
Mm-hmm.
You decide you want to move in together. Now you're sharing life expenses and responsibilities together.
Yep.
You are giving yourself multiple triggering events that are ripe for self-sabotage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And those are the moments where you start to sit there and think to yourself, well, why does this person want to spend this much time with me? Am I that wonderful?
Yeah.
Right? And that's a great self-sabotaging thought. Or maybe I don't
I
really...
like how you're like chalking this up to be like a good thing. That's a fantastic self-sabotaging
Right.
thought. Like,
It's definitely
that's an
sarcastic.
A+. Yeah, no, I know.
Everything I say is positive, man.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even when it's bad. It's a great time.
Right.
The boat is sinking, but guess what? The water's great.
Yeah, the water's fine.
But all these thoughts start to come into your mind, and whether you acknowledge them externally or subconsciously, you're going to start to attempt to distance yourself if you don't wrangle in those thoughts of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
And there's some of the most wonderful experiences you get to deprive yourself of.
Oh gosh.
If you don't sit there and control that self-sabotaging mentality.
Yeah.
Right? Like you were saying, you revert back to old ways. Well, maybe I'll just tell her she's not good enough today. Instead of telling her she's pretty in that dress, I'll say, yeah.
Well,
I didn't
that, or like
notice.
even if you don't come out and blatantly say something mean, maybe you just start to be a recluse.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just start to slowly retract inside of the relationship.
Reject
Maybe
advances.
you just kind of reject advances. You're not as present in your conversations. You start to be a little more like, if we're talking, attachment wise, avoidant. You start to become a little more avoidant. And things like that.
So it comes to a point where now you've established that you have a problem in some of these places, right?
Now we got to talk about how to fix it.
Now we're going to talk about how to fix those things, because the first part is always recognizing the problem. Hey,
It always is step one.
I remember doing this at times in my last relationship, which was, I think, it was a great step. I never accomplished fully in that relationship how to handle it properly, but I remember having some of the steps taken care of. Like I know I would catch myself pushing her away, and it was only while she was sleeping that I'd look at her and be like, man, what am I doing to this woman?
Aw.
Right?
Man, that's heavy.
It was always a heavy
That's
moment.
real heavy.
And you'd be like, stop it. You're doing it's wrong. When she looks at you with excitement, when she looks at you smiling, stop doing that. Stop pushing those beautiful moments away. You're just afraid of what comes after that smile.
Yeah.
Right? Because after that smile comes the next step.
Mm-hmm.
And
it also comes with, right, like it's not always the fear of like what comes positive next. It's like part of what makes love and success and all these things so great is the uncertainty and like the scarcity and like the possibility of you being hurt or the possibility of failure, right? Like that's what makes it so crazy. That's what makes it so much, at stake, right?
It all comes down to recognition, right?
Yeah.
You recognize you're self-sabotaging. Why? Well, I'm scared. Scared of what? I'm scared it might hurt me if things don't go right.
Afraid of
Why
being
might
hurt.
things not go right? Well, her and I differ on these different things. Okay.
You can really spiral really fast.
But it's also finding the root. If you can spiral all you want. That's fine as long as you get to the root of a subject.
Right.
Acknowledge it and then start to realize that you see the problem. Do you want to seek comfort in old methods? Or do you want to go ahead and find new ones that are probably more effective and more healthy for you?
Absolutely.
One of the big things I recommend is learn to self-soothe.
Oh, yeah. Self-soothing is so important, man. That's such a good skill to have.
We teach our dogs to do it.
Oh, yeah. Teach everybody and everything to do it, but sometimes
But
ourselves.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one of the dog training lessons I was taking with Winchester is that if I
little Winnie boy. You have to
little
send me
Winnie
a
boy.
little picture so I can put him on here. Everybody wants to see Winchester.
Winchester's such a good boy, but he would sit there and panic if you left him alone for too long. And my trainer kept saying, nope, do not give him attention, let him self-soothe. Eventually he'd sit there, he'd start licking his paw, and he'd be like, okay, I feel better. And he'd calm down. And it's something we need to do the same thing for ourselves.
Yeah, and that's a big lesson I had to learn, man. Like I would say in my growth personally, emotionally, that's one of the biggest skills that I had to figure out and I had to learn how to have for myself. Is because growing up I just didn't get that. I didn't get I didn't learn how to self-soothe, or I did learn how to self-soothe, but it was in very unhealthy ways.
Well, absolutely. And part of that acknowledgement is that it all starts right there, that even though things can be scary, they can be good. Good things can feel scary.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You get a shot at the doctor. It's terrifying, but it's going to make you better.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Sure.
Well, not for you, I guess. You love poking people, so.
Yeah, well, I'm not. It's not as maniacal as you may think. I feel bad when people really don't like getting shots. Most people are pretty good about it, but there's people out there that really are terrified.
Then the other part of it is allowing yourself to accept winning or getting it right.
Yeah.
You got yourself into this position, a position of potentially succeeding. Accept it now. You did this. This was your accomplishment. You should acknowledge this of yourself and give yourself credit.
Acknowledge it and believe that you are good enough to receive that love, to receive that job promotion, to be in that successful relationship.
And if you can't believe it, at least accept it.
Yeah.
Because it's happening.
Yeah.
Right? It's one of those things. And there's a term that I like to remind myself over and over and over again.
Okay.
And I love it. And I love it, love it, love it. And this is a short for you because it's such a good one, right?
All right, buddy. We're tuning in. We're locking in.
Remind yourself that what if the universe is conspiring for you?
Yeah. What if everything's going to work out?
What if everything goes better than you expected? What if they love you anyways? What if everything goes as planned?
Yeah.
What if things turn out better than what you thought they could?
Exactly.
What if it turns into something you didn't know you needed? Let go of your desire to control. Because
please let go of your desire to control. That is
what
the
if
biggest
the
thing.
universe is conspiring for you and things go better than you imagined?
Yeah, that is huge, man. And when you let go of that, I cannot even begin to explain to you the peace and the weight that gets lifted off your shoulders when I finally quit being so stubborn, when I finally relinquished my control, when I finally started believing that I was worthy of success in any regard, when I finally realized that I was good enough for success, when I finally realized that I was good enough to be in these healthy relationships, when I realized that it didn't matter what state I was living in, it didn't matter how much money I was making, what job I was doing, this, that, or the other, I was the success. What I brought to the table in the friendships, relationships, and to my work was the success,
As a healthy area of conclusion in this topic, right? It's that success can be just as heavy as failure. It's just a lot of us are more often, accustomed to failing, right?
Oof. Yeah, that hurts, but that's true.
So we're so much more comfortable with the idea that, and we even say it, we acknowledge it. We say the things of like, well, it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
Or,
because you're used to it.
Things won't
like
work
you said,
out
you have more experience of failure than success most times.
Yeah, and you notice that people who are successful don't really speak that way. They say, well, when I get it done, when everything is finished, when I accomplish this, it's always a positive self-talk.
Yeah, and it's not because of lack of failure on their end. Believe me.
Successful people fail a lot.
Oh my goodness, do successful people fail? And successful in any regard.
Oh, yeah.
Business, people who have been married for, 10, 20, 30 plus years, well, believe me, they've had their failures. They've had their hiccups. Yeah. Trust me.
And then another thing is, you sometimes consider failures only because they didn't reach the pinnacle you'd hoped, right? Yep. Because you're not right where you wanted to end up at doesn't mean it's a failure. Like, I'll give you an example. You and I, right?
Sure.
We want this to be a massive podcast success.
Right.
Right? We think we have good content.
Yeah.
You could easily look at this and be like, we only have 1,000 followers.
What? Could.
It's ridiculous. Or you could also say, we got to 1,000 followers.
Right, which was
That's
like
insane.
our goal for the year.
Yeah.
And it's only March.
Kick the crap out of it.
Yeah,
right?
dude.
But it all depends on how you phrase it, how you give it perspective and gratitude, right? Yeah. But it all starts with acknowledgement. I mean, I would say that in almost every single one of our podcasts, it always comes down to the exact same solutions. Yeah. In fact, don't listen to the next ones. You don't need to hear us anymore. Here's the solutions. We're done here.
No.
Acknowledgement, doing the work, and gratitude.
Yep.
That's it. Once you got those, you're good. You're set for life, guys. We're tuning out. This is it. We're done. No season 3.
No, but those are big ones, though, right? Like, so all of these topics, all of these things, and these concepts that we're talking about very much so are in all of our podcast episodes. And if these are things that you guys like, my goodness, please make sure that you check out our other episodes because we've got tons of them coming for you. And we've put out 20-some before this one.
So bear in mind that when you do succeed, because you should plan for success.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not just planning for failure, planning for success as well.
Farmer that wants the rain but didn't plant the crop will get nothing.
Oh, absolutely. But there's a certain weight that comes with winning or success.
Yeah.
Right? It's a whole different kind of burden. And for people that only talk about or are accustomed to losing, it can be terrifying.
It can be terrifying for sure. Yeah.
You know?
And it's hard to prepare for when you don't have as much experience with it. But I'll even say, like, you say that success is also, like, it's in its own way, its own animal and its own heavy burden. Because I've even felt that way with the podcast, right? When we struck this first little bit of success, I'll be honest, there was like some kind of sense of pressure that came on. And I didn't know what it was at first, but like I just felt it. I just felt that pressure of like, holy crap.
Well, I did recently watch an interview with, well, not interview, a lecture, so to speak, or a presentation by an Egyptian comedian. Sorry, Egyptian heart doctor turned comedian.
Wow.
By the name of Bassem Youssef. Yeah,
That's
he's great.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
He was doing a presentation to a bunch of techies, and he was saying, listen, if you're up here waiting for me to tell you how to make more money, how to succeed more, how to reach more people, get more likes or followers, I got nothing for you. Nothing. Bear in mind, he's wildly successful. What he said instead was, I can give you some advice on how to deal with the things that come with those successes. Wow. And failures, right? Yeah. And he was saying that you will have your ups and your downs, and to embrace each one of them, to acknowledge them, right? Because they will be different challenges that you aren't built or prepared for, right? He gave the example when he was a heart surgeon, everything was great, right? Yeah. And then someone discovered him being funny, and they tried to get him to be a TV show host, right? And everything was great until some of his comedy got him kicked out of the country, and then things were not great. Wow. Because now he had all this notoriety, and now people recognized him, and people recognized him. Yeah. You know, so he had both, and then he had to leave the country and start a career all over again. That's crazy. And things became great, right? Until he said something that upset certain political pundits, and then things weren't great again. Wow. And having to realize that things come in ebbs and flows, and that you will have your ups and your downs, and they will all come with brand new challenges. Sure. And ultimately, you have to be willing to accept them all. Yep. They all come with it.
And you have to be able to, you have to experience it, right? That's the biggest thing, man. Like,
allow yourself to experience it.
Yeah, that is the biggest thing to success. Like, there is not necessarily any secret code. It's mostly about believing in yourself, believing you're worthy of it, and allowing yourself to experience what it takes to get to whatever success you're aiming for.
There's so much beauty in the human experience.
Oh, the human experience. Love it.
You get to experience happiness, sadness, distress, success,
overjoy.
You get to feel nothing sometimes. Yep. You get to feel so many beautiful things, and as a reminder, all of them are a fruit of your labor. Yep. No matter what they are, and so you should enjoy it. I've had moments where I sit there tremendously sad or scared, and I remind myself what a blessing it is to be able to feel this.
Because I get to feel these things. I get to go to work. I get to do this cool job. Like, for me personally, like when I was, at one point in my career, maybe not liking it as much, and then I changed my mindset of like, I get to do this cool job. This is sick. I get to watch all these heart monitors and like make sure all of these things are going good, and I get to interact and give all these different kind of medications to a variety of different kind of patients for all these different kind of issues, and get to help them fix them. And that's the biggest thing.
Absolutely. And I think even as we conclude, right, I sit here and I kind of laugh at that fear of success. Because it never comes in the way you think it will, right? You don't.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah.
No one just comes and tells you you're about to be successful. Are you scared yet?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
It's that build up prior. Like, am I going to get that job?
Yep.
Is she going to like me, or is she going to at the last moment say I'm not feeling it, and then you're going to feel like you're crushed, right? The fear of success doesn't come from knowing you're about to succeed. It comes from potentially succeeding, but what if you fail again? Yeah. And you're so close on that cusp, right? Yeah. That's where that fear stems from. And then sometimes, okay, what if I do succeed? And then like people ask more of me. That's a rough one too. So don't be too hard on yourself for whatever you feel during those moments. Yeah. It's going to be okay. Because all right. You got yourself to that point. You'll get yourself through it as well.
Yep. Absolutely. You made it through 100% of the days that you thought you weren't going to make it through.
Every day you're alive, you've been successful so far.
That's right. And with that being said, guys, let us know what you think of this episode. Comment below, like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Don't forget that notification bell.
So yes, please like, subscribe. Maybe we can get some of the bloopers from the other episode.
Yep.
Like that. Oh yeah, meaningful thing. Lawnmower.
You're right. Yeah. And thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate you. I'll never stop thanking everybody for subscribing, for liking, for sharing the content, for just being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for entertaining these conversations. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for having conversations in spite of us or because of us. We love to hear your success stories. Let us know about that too.
And a tiny word from our sponsor, Vibrance Automotive.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. If you come in and you say the secret code, little pricks, you will get 10% off your bill.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Shameless self-promotion.
Yeah, God. Good for you, buddy. We love it. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you later.
Adios.